Hajime no Ippo has like a billion characters that we all deeply love and appreciate for their own storylines, personalities and what they brought to the story. However, this doesn't mean that Morikawa likes them as much as we do. Sometimes he just gives these characters disappointing roles in the story, and most of the time they end up with bad endings that leave a bitter taste in the mouths of fans. The very first character that comes to mind with the most wasted potential in the entire Hajime no Ippo storyline is Kimura. Because, of course, it's Kimura. After his big fight against Mashiba, fans, including myself, were expecting Kimura to make a comeback to boxing, surpass his previous limits, and maybe get some story arcs where he finally picks up wins and real character development happens. But oh well, the exact opposite happens with each passing chapter. After the third season, you would expect Kimura to finally have his own arc again or start winning more fights, but no. Every new arc, things just get worse for this guy. He only wins via decision, if he even wins at all, and most of the time he either gets a draw or losses. The characters even acknowledge Kimura's lack of success. At one point, Kimura and Aoki considered retiring after failing to win the A-class tournament again, but they decided to stick with it. While Aoki went on a KO winning streak after their comeback, Kimura started having weight cutting issues and now mostly ends up with draws. I think the final nail in the coffin for Kimura's downfall as a boxer was the time he was struggling to make the weight and had to buzz off his hair completely alongside Ippo for an unranked fight. And the worst part, Kimura wasn't even the main focus. It was all about Ippo's development as a trainer. Now, the running gag with Kimura is that he has a receding hairline, which is such a fall from grace compared to the hype we had for him during the Mashiba fight. I could keep rambling about how dirty Morikawa has done Kimura, but I've already made a whole video about him, so you can check that out if you want to. The next character I couldn't believe got the ending he did was Oda. If you've completely forgotten who Oda was, he was Ippo's first opponent in the ring. The stakes were high for him. If Oda lost, he would be expelled from the gym and could no longer date his girlfriend. He trained like never before for his fight against Ippo, but still ended up losing. Despite this, his coach still had faith in him as a boxer, and he was still dating his girlfriend. So Oda promised himself that he will train every day and take boxing seriously from that point on. Fast forward about 1000 chapters later, when Mari meets up with Oda to gather information about Ippo's next opponent, Kojima, the guy who got steamrolled by Ippo with just one punch, Oda is completely unrecognizable. He has gained a lot of weight, and somewhere after his fight with Ippo, he lost the motivation to continue boxing. He realized there are monsters like Ippo out there, and he felt like he had no chance against them. So he gave up, ate a lot, and became a trainer instead. We never see his girlfriend again after this, which kinda suggests that she just left him. It's always sad to see a character fall off like this, but I guess he's at least somewhat happy now, I don't know. But anyway, the next character who fell off is the main character himself, Ippo. Now, in terms of boxing qualities, Ippo has become stronger than ever, but after he retired following his fight against Antonio Guevara, he's kind of become a side character in his own story. Don't get me wrong, he's still the main focus of the series, but he hasn't done anything main characterish since he retired. He's just there in the background helping every other character with their own stories and fights. The thing is, Ippo has been retired for almost 300 chapters now, and it just feels like it's time for him to return. But with all the arcs and characters that still need to be wrapped up, it's clear we've got a long way to go before Ippo gets the spotlight again. This has been disappointing for a lot of fans who have stuck with the series for so many years. And alongside Ippo, Itagaki also became pretty irrelevant to the story around the same time. Itagaki has been built up for over 500 chapters as this genius boxer who might even stab Ippo in the back someday for a big fight against him. However, ever since his second fight against Imai for the featherweight title, the title Ippo had to relinquish, which Itagaki lost, he has never had a major role in the story again. He still has his fights, but he wins them all via decision, and they mostly happen off screen. This is a huge contrast to how he was initially built up as an untouchable prodigy, capable of landing KOs. It just feels like Itagaki fell a victim of being written off while at the same time he's not written off. He's still there getting occasional screen time, but only to remind the readers that he exists. There are just way more important plot points in the story that need conclusions before Morikawa can focus on him again. At the same time, Morikawa can't fully write him off since he's still part of the gym, so Itagaki just lingers in the background without any real development. I've already made an entire video about Itadaki's lost potential in the story, so you can check that out if you you want more details. But one character who had to be written off was Sawamura. After his brutal fight against Mashiba, he won the junior lightweight title, only to be involved in a traffic accident that forced him to retire. The reason he was written off is pretty clear. The story was stacked with too many characters, and since Sawamura was built to have a definite success on the world stage, Morikawa had to write him out to make room for other, more important characters. At least Sawamura got an on-screen ending and even reappeared recently, but the number one character who has been done the absolute dirties and has no way of recovering is Hayami. What happened to Hayami isn't even sad, it's just tragic considering the mess he has become. Ippo was just scouting an empty arena before Kimura's fight when he randomly spotted Hayami among the boxers who were shadow boxing. Hayami greeted Ippo and wondered if Ippo had actually retired. After getting confirmation, he confidently told Ippo that he was still going strong and would definitely become a legend. Then Hayami's fight started, and at first he was dominating his opponent like it was just another day at the office. But then we learned that his opponent is unranked. On top of that, Hayami has 21 fights on his belt with 11 losses, most of them recent. Kobashi was also in the crowd and has been watching all of Hayami's fights ever since their junior featherweight title fight. Kobashi knew exactly what was wrong. Hayami has been suffering from a shattered glass jaw ever since his fight with Ippo. Ippo broke it into pieces, and since then, even the lightest touch to his chin sends him straight to the canvas. Hayami tried to finish his opponent with a special counter, but he was instantly knocked down with just a simple touch to his chin. He got back up trying to fight on, but doubt crept in. He questioned where everything went wrong with his career, became overwhelmed and ultimately lost the fight. Meanwhile, Ippo noticed the connections between himself and Hayami. He realized that Hayami's body is just broken down, much like his own was during his final fight where he couldn't withstand even the slightest punches. After Kimura's fight, the boys went outside to the hall and found that frustrated Hayami. Hayami mentioned he will start from square one and make a comeback. Ippo pressed him, asking if this was really the right choice. That's when Hayami broke down, admitting he was supposed to be the protege destined for greatness, until Ippo snapped it all away. Ippo just gave Hayami a cold glare because he recognized the same delusion Hayami was trapped in, the same one Ippo himself struggled with when he couldn't accept the reality of his own career. Takamura then gave Hayami some encouraging words, saying this performance was fire, but he wasn't mentioning his fight, but rather the time the boys went to sing in the karaoke. It gave Hayami false hope, especially coming from a world champion. This is the last time we see Hayami. He just walks off into the dark city alone, his back turned, determined to fulfill his destiny. I like to thank CDEP, previously known as A Prime, for being an awesome member and continuing to supporting this channel. If you have enjoyed this video, then please leave a like and subscribe to my channel for more Hajime no Ippo content. I'm the Reading Crow, and thanks for watching.